recently.
I will destroy them all.
Right, where's
I was thinking, I was like, wait, do they use Celsius in the UK?
Everywhere uses Celsius apart from America.
Like, don't you guys use like a mixture of like measurements for like lengths and weights? Like, you don't just use straight. Huh.
No, when I was growing up, it used to be the case in the UK that we did use the. This is all great. This is all great stuff for the podcast. Welcome to the Attack on Titan coordinate podcast that we are doing. Sorry, that's a terrible intro. Welcome back to the final season, part 7.
Yeah,
whatever we're on. Chapter
final season, part 3, part 1.
Actually, I think they just called it Attack on Titan: The Final Chapters. But yeah, anyway, in the UK we just use when I was growing up, and I remember being like, I think 6, sort of 7-ish, and like I kind of learned. Well, I hadn't even learnt it properly, but I knew like weights was done in stones, pounds and ounces and stuff. And then I don't know what measurements we used to use, but I remember specifically in school everything changed, and we were told to do the metric system, and so everything changed to kilos and grams and what's the other ones? Meters and kilometers and stuff. I think the only thing that we do weird is that we still have miles on the road.
Okay.
I think that's the only thing we do weird. So like the national speed limit here is 70 miles per hour, which I think is like 100 kilometers or 120 kilometers per hour.
I'm in my car. I can look at the speedometer. It's it's like, you said 70?
70 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's like 110 maybe.
110, yeah. So that's kind of our national speed limit. But that's the only thing we never changed. And I do sometimes think about that and be like, why did we change everything when I was a kid? Because it would always just be the case where my nan would say like, can you like pass me 6 ounces of sugar? And I'd be like, what? What are you talking about, Nan?
Yeah. Well, in like Puerto Rico, they have so their distance markers on the road are in meters or kilometers, but their speed limits are in miles per hour.
Yeah,
and
again,
it makes no sense.
Yeah, so the only time we have something like that is when you're coming off of the motorway. There's they have 3 signs on this thing where you have like 3 lines, 2 lines, 1 line, and it's yards. And it's just like, why?
That is weird.
Why have we done all this effort for everything except the roads? And it's not like we change the road signs constantly. Like they're always being updated. They're always being refreshed. We have a whole agency dedicated to keeping our roads nice. They do a terrible job with potholes, but otherwise they do a fairly good job. But still, like, why hasn't this been updated? Why hasn't this been changed? All of our cars have the kilometres things in it because they're all made to go in, like, not just for the UK. They're all made to go across Europe as well, and the rest of Europe does it the opposite way. Huh. I think the only reason I knew how much roughly 70 miles per hour is because I've driven in France before and been like, I can't go over 100. And I remember looking at the speedometer and thinking, this is 60 miles an hour. This is why it feels so slow. It's just like they're not allowed to go as fast as we are.
Yeah. So, do you want to cut all that, or are we leaving that in?
Nah, leave it all in. This is like a Too Young for This Trek episode. It just suddenly starts. It'd be great if you could start it midway through the conversation so no one has any context to what we're talking about.
Believe it or not, this episode could have started worse. I was waiting for you to ask me, like, how are you doing? And I was going to tell you about the fact that I woke up this morning with a little bit of, like, pain in the testicle. Ooh. And...
well, let's talk about that. So I'm pretty sure we mentioned it on the podcast before. Tyler's had to snip.
Yep. Have you had the snip yet? I know it was, like, on your to-do list.
Was it? I always thought I was very anti the snip. And then
no, you said you wanted to get it done, but you had to wait a certain amount of time after your
oh no, I think I was just explaining like the laws in the UK. Well, not the laws, but like the recommendations. Like I can go get the snip on the NHS, like that's fine. But yeah, the NHS won't let me do it until I think like 6 or 9 months after I've had a child, because so many people, and this was just a big thing I think in like the the 2000s, where so many people got the snip like as soon as they had a child or the second child.
If they were like, this kid fucking sucks.
Oh,
Do not want another.
That's one of my favourite memes ever. Is there's a meme of like this the firstborn child at like 3 months old, and it's on like this perfect blanket. It's got all flowers around it in this really angelic look with this photograph. And the photograph next to it is of this crying baby with a poorly put on nappy with a post-it note stuck in its head saying 3 months. It's just like, yep, that is life. there's no time to do all the uber nice things for the children. But yeah, they won't let you do it because so many people end up going back to the NHS to be like, can I have this undone? We actually want to have another kid. So they're just like, no, okay, you now have to wait 9 months to make sure you're sure that you don't want to have the snip. But no, I kind of always been, I never wanted to get the snip, but now that my youngest daughter's now 3, and I'm kind of thinking, and I'm now at the point where it's just like, oh man, if I had another kid now, it would be like a real struggle, like mentally and financially.
Yeah.
And so now, like the last 2 or 3 months, I've actually been thinking, should I actually get the snip and just like take all that risk out of my life? But yeah, I think more to that to come. But
stay posted.
That was a great pun. Anyway,
welcome back to Ball Talk.
Tyler's ball bag's empty. Mine's still
Titan ball. Okay. Hello and welcome to The Coordinate, an Attack on Titan podcast.
Really?
Yet again.
I thought it was a Chainsaw Man podcast.
Yeah, we were there for a minute, and probably once again. But yeah,
I miss Chainsaw
this
Man.
week we're talking about not episode 88. I'm very frustrated that they did the same like numbering convention for 87 episodes, and then Crunchyroll just refers to this one as like SP1.
Yeah, it's E-SP1. It took me ages to find it because you and Benji were talking on the Discord and like being like, oh, it's released, and all excited, and like I was half asleep at that point. So the next morning I was looking again. Oh, brilliant! And I spent about 10 minutes looking on Crunchyroll. I couldn't find it. And it was eventually like, oh, they've put it in season 4 at like the end of all the dubbed episodes. It's just like, why is this here? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. And so I guess the official title of this is The Final Chapter Special 1.
Yes.
Which is broken into 2 chapters itself.
Yeah.
And
you think, why
I don't
wasn't it just 2
understand why.
episodes?
Well, it's the length of 3 episodes, though. So, like, what is happening? Like, let's just talk about the format up front, I guess. Like, I just don't understand. I love this. Like, just heads up. I thought it was great. But the format is frustratingly weird. Because, like, there's so many different options. Like, one, it doesn't have an intro song. So, like, that makes it, like, different from the format.
Wait. Can I just pause you there?
Yes.
Because I was also very confused by the fact there was no intro song. Because I'd also had all the conversations from you and Benji on the Discord where it'd been like, the intro song's been leaked. And I was just like, there is no intro. I was like, about 5-10 minutes into the episode, I was like, no, there's definitely been no intro yet. So
yeah, so you didn't listen to it, right?
No, because I was a bit like, I'm not going to listen to this because I want to save it for the episode and be really excited about it. And then it's just
so
like,
it was a song that they play at the end of the credits.
I did kind of assume that.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it was just like, one of the best things about Attack on Titan has been the change in the theme tune every season.
I know, and they're always good. Like you start out thinking like, I don't know if it's as good as the other ones, and then you're just like screaming, rumbling, coming for you, rumbling.
Especially as this first chapter was called Rumbling, like they could have used that actual.
This would have been the
tune.
perfect time. They shouldn't have used it for the last one because it was spoilers. It should have been for this one. And so I listened to the like leaked, what we thought was going to be like the theme intro, which ended up being for the credits. And I was like, it's okay, but it's like, it's not like a hype song, you know, like all of the other intros are like very like, they get you excited. This one's more sad.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was just very odd format, I have to say.
Yeah, and for me, like, I just feel like if they were going to do 2 specials an hour long each, why not just make it like a movie? Like they've made like Jujutsu Kaisen had a movie, freaking Demon Slayer's having a second movie, and like none of those, like I've watched the movies, like none of those really, they assume you know a lot of stuff already. Even though the Jujutsu Kaisen one was a prequel, like you kind of have to know some stuff from the series to watch it. So like I don't know, I just like how this was actually formatted, which I'll talk about when we start getting into it. Some of the stuff they like moved around from chapters, I think it like would have worked really well as a movie. And they should have just did that.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. Like, I mean, when even is like part 2 of this special thing coming out?
Fall.
What?
Fall.
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 Fall. You mean autumn?
Yep.
What? Our autumn or Japanese autumn?
That's a good question.
Either way, that absolutely sucks balls. Like,
yeah.
What is? I mean, this is already, it's March. Like this would have normally been out in January, and what?
Yeah.
I've got to wait. Oh, because I'm just going to get into this as well. One of my I really enjoyed it, but in looking back on what I watched afterwards, nothing happened. It's just like we knew the rumbling was happened. There's kind of like a weird flashback before the thing for the Titans get there, where they have to get out in the plane. But basically, all that happened was they got in a plane and then they jumped on Erin's back, and then that was it. And it was just like that nothing else happened in here. It was all just like filler. I'm just like, what?
Kind of like
I just assumed
it's really funny.
Next week.
No. So yeah, like for the first one, for the first chapter, I wrote down like some scenes just to like remind myself. And then for the second one, I just wrote down paths. Annie swallowed a lot of stuff diving off of the plane.
Hang on, I missed that bit. Annie swallowed a lot of what?
A lot of stuff. A lot of strange stuff, I think she said.
What was she with Armin?
Yeah, I wrote down the quote, and yeah, when we get to that part, because I assume we're going to go in order a little bit.
I did kind of want to ask you about that, and I probably should have asked you about it before we started recording. Obviously, this is a lot longer than a normal episode, so do you want to do all of it now?
All of what?
Do you want to do all of the episode now, or do you want to split it into 2?
Oh, yeah, let's just do it all right now.
Okay,
like, I don't think it'll take... Like you said, not that much happened.
Yeah, I know. I mean, especially as it opens up with the whole thing with Mikasa and Armin sleeping... Erin sleeping under a tree, and Mikasa being like, all right, get up. I've got some wood. Have you got wood, Erin? He's like, no, I'm crying.
Why are you crying?
Yeah, and it always comes back to that. So I don't know why they always focus on that moment. I assume it's going to be very important to the end of the thing. All right, let's get into chapter 1 then. The rumbling. Rumbling. Okay. Rumbling. Spoilers in this song are rumbling.
How did you feel about the Ramsey stuff? Like, Ramsey's the kid that gets squished to death.
Yeah, because I thought that was a nice callback to the kid who had robbed him. And I didn't even notice at first his hand was missing in this scene.
Yeah, I didn't realize his hand was missing until that one kid's like, "You're going to lose your other hand." And I was like, "Really? His hand's missing?
You're going to lose your left hand too."
Probably knew that. I just forgot. But yeah, so this is one thing that was different from the manga. So like, this happened like in various chapters, and they just brought it all together, and I think it works a lot better this way. Because like the only other time you've seen him, right, is the episode where they get drunk, right?
Yeah, and that was very strange.
Yeah.
That was a really strange episode.
That was like the last fun, happy episode. They all get drunk and have a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how do you feel about the whole thing of like Eren knowing that like he's gonna kill this kid and apologizing after saving him?
It's very strange. Like, I'm beginning to get quite disconnected from Eren's emotional torment. like I've always been quite behind him all the way, but now that it's kind of like he's seen his future, he knows he's going to slaughter these people, and yet he feels regretful about it. You'd think, well, why don't you change it? Why are you so locked in? And so there must be something he's seen after the massacre, which means he knows it's going to be worth it. Beyond just the idea of saving like Eldians and all the people in Paradise, there must be something else that he sees at the end, which makes him know that actually taking out the Malians is worth it. Like maybe the Malians create nukes and end up destroying the world in the future, like us and the Russians have done at the moment in our own world.
So I read the ending to Attack on Titan, like, was it 3 years ago now, or is it two?
It must have been 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been years, and I've never reread it, so I don't remember a lot of the finer details, so I don't think it's spoilers at this point for me to be like, this is what I think's happening.
Okay.
So
if you spoil it for me, though, I'm going to kill you, Don.
So I don't think Eren knows what happens after the rumbling. He knows that he causes the rumbling, and at this point he just feels like he can't escape that fate, like he's going to do it, and right now he doesn't know why, because in this episode he says he just assumes that they can't figure out like another way to save Paradise Island. So I don't think he knows why he's going to do it, he just knows he's going to do it, and then he kind of tries to justify it in that scene, because he's like, I dreamed what the world was going to be outside the walls, and then I saw it, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and I want it to be what I thought it was going to be, which is everyone's dead outside the walls.
Yeah, there's nothing outside the walls.
So that's where he loses me.
Yeah, but he's just got. I don't know. I've kind of lost my way with Eren.
Yeah, I don't understand what his motivation is right now.
No. Because when he actually saves the kid and like beats up all those old men, although we don't see it, it's just like, that's the Eren I know. Always fighting for the little man, always fighting back to protect what's right, rather than just being like, I'm sorry, I'm going to save you, but you're going to get squished later in a really cool scene.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty brutal. Your teeth are going to crack, and your head's going to explode.
That bit where you see the teeth starting to disjoint and crack just before it blacks out. It's just like, and then you just see the big blood stain as he's looking at his brother. I think it's his brother, isn't it, next to him?
I'm not sure. He's his brother or his friend, something like that. But yeah, I thought all of that was handled really good. Like, I thought like the rumbling looked great. It's a lot more like brutal than I remember in the manga. In the manga, I feel like you see a lot of people squished within like big footsteps, but like that's like the extent of it. I know they do a close-up of Ramsay getting squished, but
something that has come back from the very first time that we started doing this podcast is, did you notice how all the giant titans that are in the rumbling have got really stubby feet?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember like the colossal titan?
Like a design choice, yeah.
Yeah, the colossal titan at the very first. That was the very first thing we noticed, was like, his feet are really stubby. It's like he's got no toes. It just ends at the end of his foot.
I remember looking into it, and it's like something to do with like elephants have feet like that, and they're real big. So like it must be something that's good for big things. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's just so strange though. But yeah, I remember. But when I was watching this, I was thinking, this can't be that bad. Like, they're not, those giants aren't that closely put together. Like, you could, in theory, just dodge around them.
Yeah.
But
so
then
in the manga, it looks like they're drawn kind of looking like a wall. There's like no space whatsoever in between them, which they're like not detailed. Like they're not drawn in any detail in the manga. So I feel like that's easier to show in like that like still format versus in this like. You have to see them in motion, so there needs to be a little space, or they're just going to be like running into each other like they do when they fall down the cliff later.
Yeah, that's funny. I do like it when they start stacking it over each other. That is really good. But I don't know. It's just I did kind of feel that, and then this actual watching this actually took that whole thing away from me. It was just like, there's just no way you can get past this, especially with like how burning hot they are.
Yeah, how burning hot they are. They're like when they crush buildings, they're sending like rubble like everywhere.
Yeah, and you see how literally every single bit of ground has been flattened by like 3 or 4 footsteps. It's just like, oh yeah, statistically you're fucked.
And then the forest just like burst into flames.
Yeah. You feel like if someone had a decent enough underground bunker and some tools to dig themselves out afterwards.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And there is a precedent for underground cities in Attack on Titan, because I don't know if you remember this, but Levi's from an underground city.
Yeah, there's one underneath Paradise, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, that was so random.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch season 2. I can barely remember anything from that season.
I
never watched it.
That fact isn't important.
I never watched it because we read it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what happens in it either. But yeah, it's just harrowing. There's loads of scenes like with the old people in prison, being like, at least we could be together. There's people just running away, children crying on the floor. It is harrowing. All to be crushed to death by a really stubby foot.
Yeah. So then I think the next important thing that happens is really like Armin and Annie talking, and then it's like revealed that they like each other.
We get the first decent glimpse of Erin first, where he's kind of like in his weird sort of bent over pose with these huge giant legs coming out behind.
Oh yeah, I was surprised to see that there was meat on his legs, because from the manga I thought it was like all skeleton.
I was a little bit strange, like wigged out by that too. But they're also
you get that nice ass shot.
Yeah, they're also weird, but that was exactly what I was thinking. You can proper see his tailbone.
Yeah,
it's just like so. All right, so we've got a nice ass shot of Erin with his giant weird legs. His rib cage is so big that he can't really keep it upright. Mm-hmm. But then I can't see. But his arms aren't keeping him off the floor either. So it's still just that must be giving him some really bad lower back pain. Like that. Like I was going to originally reference it to the that guy who turned into that enormous titan where it couldn't stand up and it just sort of like rubbed its face along the floor until it came to pieces.
Yeah, it does remind you of that a lot.
It did remind me of that a bit, except for the fact that it was just like, nope, Erin's just freestyling up there.
Yeah, except for Erin's holding his neck up or whatever. His torso.
I don't understand how that torso is staying upright. It's just like the laws of physics are just not working there.
So if you look, there's like these like string-like tendons that are supporting him. It kind of makes him look like a puppet, like a marionette.
What the? Yeah, but what are they attached to?
His back. I don't know. Which back?
No, but what in the air are they attached to? That's what I mean. There's nothing holding him up apart from his legs or his hair.
Oh, yeah.
His long greasy hair might be keeping him upright.
So I think the like rib cage pieces move like legs, but I don't know.
Ah, okay, that would make sense. All right, maybe I missed that bit. Sorry,
I don't know if they showed it. Like I forgot to look for it. That's just what I assume happens.
So anyway, all right, let's skip forward into Armin and Annie. Where they're suddenly in a relationship.
They're talking about it. I don't know. This is like one of the like most like controversial things in like the ending. Like a lot of people hate this, so I was curious how you felt about it.
At first, it was a bit out of the blue, but I think the problem there is that everything with Annie now is out of the blue because she spent 3.5 seasons stuck inside a big crystal ball. So it's just like she's just suddenly reappeared. She hasn't aged, so like Armin now looks older than her, which is a bit weird. But yeah, it does. His motivation kind of makes sense. He did always kind of have a soft spot for her in the first season, and they did show parts where he was constantly talking to the crystal, and then I can't remember who that other girl was. Hitch. Yeah, Hitch would take the piss out of him for it. And so it's just like obviously, he did have a soft spot for Annie. And yeah, like she says as well, with him coming to her like almost every day and talking to her because she was still conscious inside that thing, it kind of kept her sane for that whole time that she was in there. And so you can kind of see how this would happen and how it would come together. But again, like I say, just because Annie hasn't featured in this show at all for so long, it just feels a bit like, oh, this has been horned in. But I can see where, like, the guy who made Attack on Titan, I can see where he was going with this. Like, this has been there since season 1. And he's now bringing it to fruition. But for us as the people reading it or viewing it, it's a bit like,
Yeah, I don't hate it. There's a callback to in the first season when they're like trying to get Annie to go like underground so that they can, like that way she can't like turn into a Titan. Like Armin and her have a conversation, and she refers to Armin as like a good person, or ask if like he thinks that she's a good person or something like that. And so, like, I feel like it's a good callback to that, because they have that same conversation again about how like Armin doesn't like the term "good person" because
I really hate
they've all done a lot of good things. They've done a lot of bad things. Yeah.
I've killed a lot of people, even children. He says.
Yeah.
Just like, I forget that you've been a bit of a badass at times.
Yeah, it was that one time that he went like nuclear or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that, and all those boats that he's blown up.
Yeah.
Ooh, I've got a coughing child.
Is that on the baby monitor, or?
Yeah. Oh, hang on, I might just have to go settle my child quickly, Tyler.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, all right. Time for a quick commercial break.
Tequila. That's how Bill is calming his child.
September 20th, 2022, VMLYNR for Zeljans. Ad ID PFXE01210000. Spot title, 60 Mornings Are Made for Better Things. 60-second radio, full mix.
Mornings were made for better things than rheumatoid arthritis or RA. Zeljans tofacitinib is a pill for adults with moderate to severe RA when tumor necrosis factor blockers did not work well or could not be tolerated. Zeljans can help relieve joint pain, swelling, and help stop further joint damage. Zeljans can lower your ability to fight infections. Don't start if you have one. Before and during treatment, your doctor should check for infections like TB and do blood tests. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, cancers including lymphoma and lung, blood clots, serious heart-related events, tears in the stomach or intestines, and allergic reactions have happened. People 50 and older with heart disease risk factors have an increased risk of death. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B or C, have flu-like symptoms, are prone to infections, or have ever had a heart attack, stroke, clot, or other heart problems, or swelling of lips, tongue, throat, or hives. Ask your doctor about prescription Zeljans. Visit Zeljans.com or call 1-844-ZELJANS.
But yeah, I've got a good way of settling her quickly now, so mostly using tequila. Speaking of tequila, how's the VIP room in the strip bar today?
Sweaty.
Yeah, I thought I could hear some grunting in the background earlier. But was the steak dinner good? The vegan steak dinner.
The vegan steak, yeah. It was very tasty. Maybe that's what happened to my testicle. Too much grinding. So neither of us hate the Annie Armin thing.
Which makes us different from the rest of the world.
Yeah. So the other thing that's happening is, they're like trying to put the plane together, get that ready. Not much to say there. But then we have a flashback to like them talking to Yolana, and I thought that was pretty cool.
I don't remember this bit. What was the flashback?
So she's like telling them like, so it's her planning with Aaron like what to do or whatever. And
oh yeah.
So it's them asking her, like, where does she think he's going to go? And he's going to go to like that like hill area with all the airships.
Yeah, he's going to go there and blow up the airships.
Yeah, because it's the only thing that can stop him.
Which, in hindsight, maybe not a big deal. Yeah, that did make me laugh. But yeah, and then Levi's sitting there going like, "Hey, you gave up that information easily."
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I really had to say about that scene is I like the part where she like kind of forces Hanji to like admit that Zeke's plan was better.
Oh yeah,
because like morally it's not great to,
Euthanize
essentially,
entire
give everyone
race.
the snip against their will. But I think it's better than genocide.
Yeah, I mean, technically, no people die, but it's just no people are then born.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like, mass worldwide genocide. Because they even mentioned at one point,
marginally better.
Yeah, they even mentioned at one point about the fact that the attack will not only just wipe out the Malians, but it will also wipe out the fleets of lots of other nations, pretty much causing economic collapse worldwide.
Yeah,
which seems mildly strange, but and then also, did you catch the glimpse of the? It was a couple of seconds after like Levi was being really angry for some reason, of like the centipede walking over stuff.
The centipede walking over stuff.
Yeah, I had to go back. It was literally like 2 seconds worth of footage of this centipede walking over some bottles, like it looks like wine bottles.
No, I don't remember that.
And I was a bit like, that's weird, because obviously the thing that we saw that created like the first ever Titan was kind of centipede-like.
Yeah, and there's like an actual extinct animal that it looks almost identical to. I'm gonna butcher the name of it because I haven't like seen it written in a long time. It's like a hallucigenia, something like that.
Hallucigenia, that's a great name.
Yeah, it's something like that. Just throwing that out there.
But yeah, I kind of felt like that was put there for some sort of weird imagery reason to try and remind us of something.
Yeah, didn't notice it. I'll have to look out for it when I rewatch it, which I plan to do soon.
And we're back, and it's just like nothing happened.
So Flock's back. What you think about that? Like, he's just like, I was hanging on to the ship the entire time, you dumbasses.
Fucking
Where
bullshit.
was I for like the past couple of hours when you all were like sitting here?
Well, probably resting his arm. He'd been holding onto the back of the ship for that long. My muscles are killing me. It's just like I've been doing some exercise for the first time in my life for like the last 4 or 5 months. I've been doing something called calisthenics. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I'd never heard of it beforehand. Like, one of my mates was doing it. It's like, Bill, you should come do this. And my wife was like, yeah, you're getting a bit fat. You should go do it. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. I'll try and keep myself in shape. And in fairness, it's worked, right? It's brilliant. But part of it is like using like your own body to sort of exercise yourself. And so like doing pull-ups, push-ups, things like that. And like I've been getting quite good at it. Like, I could do like 4 or 5 chin-ups now before I need a rest, which is really, really flipping hard to do. But we did a thing the other day where he asked us to try and hold onto the bar and just hang there for 2 minutes. Right? Yeah. I lasted, I think, 40 seconds. And it's just like, and I've been doing this for like 4 or 5 months. Like, how could Flotch hold on to that boat for that amount of time?
He's been doing it his whole life. Like, you forget that everyone...
I don't give a fucking shit.
You forget how ripped everyone, including Armin, is.
My instructor of calisthenics has been doing like hardcore exercises for his entire life. I've known him since he was 20, and yeah, there's no way he could hold on to the back of a boat for that long. It's just horseshit.
Yeah, I don't really even know how long it was though. Like, but presumably like a couple of hours, I would think.
Because he didn't even have ODM gear on, did he? It wasn't like he could use that as an excuse.
I think he did, but I can't remember.
Maybe that was his excuse then. But yeah, I just found it slightly annoying. It felt like just a plot device to make things more dramatic.
I kind of love it. I like that he's like the Terminator or something. Like, he just won't die. Like, I don't know. He's like a horror movie villain. Like, he just keeps popping up. Like, I kind of wouldn't be surprised if, he like falls out of another plane onto Eren and starts fighting them.
No, that's Captain Levi for me. Like, he's only got one finger and he's trying to pull the trigger.
He has 2 fingers.
Oh, 2 fingers. Yeah, he's got his little finger. Yeah, because
he's like, all I need are 2. 2 fingers is enough.
Well, actually, is one of them his thumb to like go around the other side, and he's got like one. He's like his ring finger. he's practicing pulling it down and building up the strength. He's like, this is all I need. And it's just like, you see him sitting there really struggling to do it, and everyone's looking at him, and then later on he's just like flying around like nothing. Like nothing's changed. She's like, I've only got one eye. I've only got two working fingers. Maybe it's one finger on
one too many.
So duct tape the thing to his hand.
Yeah, that kind of like, it looks like he has like the fingers like bandaged together. That way he can move it, even though it doesn't work. Only one of them works. But yeah,
but yeah, it's great. I love Captain Levi. Although he has become a bit one. I will actually complain. He's become a bit one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Yeah, all he cares about is killing Zeke. And it's just like, I'm pretty sure Zeke's already dead, mate. You'd be a little bit disappointed.
No comment. So Flock shoots some holes in their gas tank. And then at first I was like, why is there no gas coming out of it? But then it's because they didn't fill it. And I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But then it looks like they only repair the hole. Like they repair the outside of the aircraft. And not necessarily like I didn't see them remove any panels and get it in there and repair the actual tank. And maybe it's just because that's literally like that's what I do for a living, is not do the actual repairs. But I'm an engineer who works with aircraft. I'm just like, But anyways, that's me being nitpicky.
Well, maybe the tank was actually on the outside of the aircraft,
and there's like no outer hole, and it's just
yeah. You've just got like a fuselage with some tanks attached to the outside.
It's not worth thinking about. So yeah, they need to buy some time, and Armin's like, I'll do it. I'll be the hero that everyone needs. And Hanji's like, if anyone's going to get close to them Titans, it's going to be me. So Hanji's death.
Wow, we're skipping the Hanji's death already. Are we skipping?
I don't think so.
No, I know there was a lot of talking with Reiner and like the Cart Titan and stuff, and then there was the great moment where Hanji goes, "Can I ride on your back?"
Yeah, and Peek's like,
"This got creepy quick."
Yeah,
it's so funny. Peek. I'd love to ride on the Cart Titan's back sometimes and feel its warm body heat as we know. That took a sudden creepy turn. Sorry, that was before Flotch even turned up, wasn't it? But yeah, Hanji's death, amazing. I couldn't recollect fully seeing Hanji in action. I know at some point she was, because I know she lost her eye. Mm-hmm. But I don't actually ever remember seeing her actually killing Titans too much beforehand. But she's clearly a seasoned hand. Like, she does a really good job of taking down a lot of these big Titans.
Yeah, and the only thing that gets her is that she burst into flames.
Yeah, it just got too hot for her, Yeah. And this is the old superhero thing, isn't it? You shouldn't wear a cape. They get caught in plane engines and stuff. You should never ever wear a cape. We've all seen Incredibles. That's the number one rule. If she wasn't wearing that cape, it would have taken her much longer to set on fire. And also, if you're gonna go out fighting Titans like that, maybe like jump in the water first, so you're a bit like doused. Although actually, maybe would it burn, or maybe would it heat up the water and then burn your skin quicker?
I don't know. But yeah, so I didn't realize, I had to go back and check the manga because I didn't remember her bursting into flames. But yeah, that happened in the manga. It just wasn't as clear because I thought what happened in the manga is like they got away and then she's just like, all right, well, I'm just going to die now. This is the way I wanted to go anyways. Just getting stomped on.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, there wouldn't have actually been a need if you think about it because she's got her ODM gear. So if I'd have got to the point where the plane had taken off, obviously the boat had got away with Annie and Gabby and Falco. Amadeus. Oh yeah, we've said PK and Falco in the same episode, so we get to use our drops.
Probably not.
And then, oh no. If I'm editing this, there's loads of strip club noises going on in the background. But yeah, you'd think she'd just wait until the plane's gone and then just use her ODM gear to fly to the back end of the rumbling.
Yeah, just like hooking on their heads or something. Oh yeah. So unless you have anything else to say about part 1, we can move on to chapter 2.
Well, just I find it really weird the way he animates people crying. The tears look really strange, like, especially when like Armin's just absolutely like pissing himself crying.
Yeah, I think it's like all water, like everything's like so like flat, and then like I think all of the water in it is like CGI and shiny. So yeah, it's a little different. I don't. How were you sad when Hanji died, or were you just like meh, whatever?
No, she has a glorious
Sasha
death.
Dying, sad.
No, Sasha dying was brutal because it was just like came out of nowhere. She wasn't doing anything. She didn't have a glorious death.
Gotcha.
Whereas Hanji was kind of like, no, she went out burning in flames, literally.
I like the part with her and Levi where she's like, "Hey, don't ruin this for me. I got a cool thing going for me."
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was really funny. And then she wakes up in like the afterlife, and Captain Irwin's there.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, this is pretty cool.
You did your job.
Good job. It's like, yeah, you had it tough as well.
Oh yeah, now Armin's the leader of the Survey Corps.
Oh yeah, that really cool. Yeah, that was a cool moment. Sort of giving it over to him. Yeah, yeah. All the other ones are dead, aren't they? In that purgatory place. Well, they've got a nice cloudy sky. All right, then, let's talk about chapter 2, shall we?
Okay, chapter 2.
Sinners.
Chapter 2, yeah, I barely wrote any notes for it. I'm just like, yeah, they're all like, all right, so here's our plan. We're going to try to talk to Eren. And then Eren's like, takes them all to Paths, and he's like, don't talk to me. All right, so we're in Paths, and Eren's a kid, and like, Armin just really wants to talk to him.
Yeah, but Eren's having none of it.
Yeah, he's like essentially running away. Like they run all the way around Paths, Armin and Mikasa, and yep. And then Eren's just like, "You gotta fight me. Like if you guys want to stop me."
I did find that really strange how they managed to run all the way around Paths.
So how do you feel about Reiner's theory that Eren wants to be stopped?
I kind of agree with it. Again, like I said, the whole thing with him and that kid and crying and stuff, he's obviously thinking a way out of his plan. Mm-hmm. But again, I don't know why he had to initiate his plan to destroy Marley in the first place. Unless it's just like he realised Marley was like Hitler or something. It's just like, no, I need to do this first because then this is actually the better result for the end result for the rest of the world.
Yeah, the only way to stop Hitler is with a second Hitler.
Exactly. Just got to throw Hitlers at Hitlers.
That's what happened in World War II, right?
I can't say that. Poor old Winston.
Yeah, so I mean that's essentially it. That happens for. I mean, that's like most of part 2.
Yeah, well, I don't know because they start off with a little planning session, don't they?
Yeah,
like,
and I thought it was all handled well.
Yeah, because that's when they start talking about the fact like they've still got their Titan powers, so Eren's obviously given them that for a reason. I think the only bit I didn't like about it was the fact that Reiner and Connie kind of had a moment where they like made friends again.
You think it's too soon?
A little bit. Like I get what Connie's going through, having killed 2 of his mates in the last episode that we watched like a year and a half ago. But and like Reiner's been through very similar situations. But at the same time, like, yeah, Reiner's a complete bellend. Like, you should hate his guts still. He's partly the reason why you had to kill your 2 friends. Like, most of this has all been caused by Reiner being a dick.
Well, Reiner did also, like, he saved them at the end of that last bit. Him and Annie and Falco turned into their Titans. So
Amadeus.
So yeah, I don't know. That's a criticism that a lot of people have, is that they feel like they got over their differences too easy. Like maybe we needed like a chapter in here where they were fighting a bit. We kind of had that like back in that episode where oh god, I can't remember names. Magath and Shadis, yeah, where they both died. Like I don't know. So, some of that happened. Like, I can see the criticism, but it doesn't really bother me that bad for some reason. I think I'm I like Reiner. I'm a very big Reiner apologist.
I liked him before he had a goatee. Now he's got a goatee. He just looks like the sort of guy who's going to creepily like hit on your sister at a pub or something.
I don't know, like post time skip Reiner. I enjoy. Yeah, he was like super depressed and he like feels bad about himself. But apparently he's over being suicidal because there's a part where Annie's like, "There were so many times I had to stop myself from killing you because like you're just so annoying." Like, and she's like, "I'm glad I didn't do it now." And he's like, "Yeah, I am now too."
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't murder my ass because I was a dick. That's really pleasing.
So I don't know. I'm not really bothered by any of that because I don't know. Like, also, you know, they learned that the people that they've been killing as Titans have been people this whole time. So every Titan they've killed is a person. I don't know. I can see how they're could all be like conflicted and feel like they're kind of on like similar pages.
Well, who do you think gave the best speech to Eren when they're running through paths?
I don't specifically remember anything anyone said. I just remember them all being kind of like weak. They're all like, "We could figure this out, man. Like, don't do it. You've already killed like millions of people, dude. But like,
yeah,
it's okay. We'll just say it was an accident. We could sign a peace treaty, man.
It's all good, dude."
Yeah, like, the fact that they still think Eren is worth saving at this point is a little bothersome to me. Like,
well, I don't know. I mean, how would you feel if it was like one of your like schoolhood friends you'd grown up with and been through loads of shit with?
So one of my childhood
suddenly
friends
turned into
tried to kill a woman and hid her body in log pile, and yeah, he's a bad person. So like,
oh my god, I can't believe you've actually got an example like that.
Yeah, that was like one of I lived in the middle of nowhere, and so I only had a few like neighborhood like kids. And so this was like one of the closest people that lived to me that was a kid my age. And yeah, a couple of years ago, he like tried to kill a woman. He failed and like hid what he thought was her body in a pile of logs, but she survived. And yeah, now he's in jail. So.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, Eren's definitely not worth saving then.
Yeah, so kill him.
Yeah, but I mean, also, how the hell do you stop a like a skyscraper tall insectoid with long Dave Grohl greasy hair?
Well, they apparently think that Armin can just like stand on him and transform. Like, I feel like Armin should have. I'm jumping ahead a bit. Armin should have jumped out of the plane, transformed, and then like the weight of. Well, no, Titans don't weigh a lot. Never mind. I was gonna say the weight of him would have crushed them, but Titans are light. Forgot about that. Titans don't weigh a lot, remember? Like, they're disproportionately light.
What?
You don't remember that part?
What? Yeah, but then that makes the whole rumbling make no sense.
Well, they're disproportionately light, so I mean...
Yeah, but still.
They should be like elves. They should just like softly walk on top of the buildings.
Yeah, exactly. Just like floating
I don't
along.
know. I've never thought about it. That does ruin it.
Rumbling.
Well, I guess
this
it's
is
like
a very good rumbling. It's like, do they swim under the water or walk? Like,
well, we saw them swim on top of the water, which is why I was like, yeah. I mean, like, okay, they're not that heavy, but okay, I don't know. You've broken my mind, and I just can't.
I've finally broken the entire premise of Attack on Titan. Why would they add in something to be like, they're disproportionately light. But
so,
also,
I mean...
our main thing's going to be about using them to crush an entire nation literally under their feet.
Well, I mean, it's like, what if an elephant weighed a tenth of what it weighs? Like, it'd still be pretty heavy.
Yeah, but, you know, I don't know.
I don't know how much an elephant weighs offhand.
Nah, neither do I. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to know the maths of how disproportionately light they are. And then you're the engineer, so I need you to work it out.
Okay. This is homework for next
guy.
episode.
Yeah, in fall. Oh, I still can't get over it's in fall.
Yeah, in fall I'll have an answer of how much do they really weigh.
Alright then. So what's next? Oh yeah, do you have any idea what Gabby and Falco are going on about? That whole
yeah.
thing was just
So
like really confusing to me. It's just like,
so
I can
this is
see
something
Zeke's
that
dreams.
yeah.
From
So
his
this is
spinal
something
fluid?
that they made a lot more clear in the anime, because in the manga, like it's left up to your interpretation, and I feel like I was like screaming at the internet, being like, yeah, it's obviously has something to do with the Beast Titan spinal fluid, but I don't think that's mentioned at all. So yeah, I can't
He
say too
mentions
much.
Oh, you can't. Oh, okay. So that's got stuff to come. Okay, yeah, because he
Yeah.
mentions the Beast Titan spinal fluid and the memory of flying above the clouds, but also being able to control it.
hmm Yeah, I that part, I don't know. He's controlling his dream, I guess. Well, he feels like if he was to transform into his Titan, he could fly, essentially, is what he's getting at. So he thinks he has a flying Titan, which is, a callback to like one of the early episodes of the final season, when like Zeke's in like a meeting with like the Marley officers and like, don't we have a flying Titan? And they're like, over all the blah 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 generations of Titans, there's never been a flying one. And so Falco's like, hey, I found it.
But where's he found it?
So he has the Jaw Titan, but he also swallowed some. Well, he turned into a Titan by swallowing Zeke's spinal fluid. I said some word. I said a jumbled up thing that I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, so he has a little bit of Beast Titan in him, and apparently, apparently Annie got a lot of powers by swallowing a lot of. Yeah, so Annie says she had to swallow all kinds of stuff, and I'm just like, no, Annie, like it's already bad enough that you're like 15 amongst all of these people that are like 19, and like Armin's like dating a high schooler, even though he's like a sophomore in college, and now we're learning that
I have no
as a
idea
child.
what these age groups were talking about.
Oh yeah, don't worry
How old
about
would you be to be a sophomore?
You'd be like 19, 20.
Oh, right, okay. So that's normal college for us.
Yeah. Sophomore is just second year of college.
Oh, why wouldn't you just call it your second year?
I don't know.
What's soft about it? Why is it soft?
I don't
and why Are you
know.
doing more stuff?
I don't know. You're a freshman, and then you're a sophomore.
But what about women? Are they not fresh women?
I don't know, Bill. I don't know.
See, I'm poking holes in everything American today.
What were we even talking about? I got lost.
Annie swallowing lots of semen. I mean, spinal fluid.
Yeah, so you remember how there was that time when Aaron was like chained up when that guy freaking got so many names. Historia's dad was turning into the giant Titan, and Aaron just happened to find a vial that was like marked like big strong stuff or something, and he swallowed it, and it gave him like hardening powers for his fist.
Yeah, and obviously Annie's got hardening powers. as
Yeah,
well, hasn't
so Annie swallowed a lot of those vials, and they were just like, I guess they just draw spinal fluid out of like various Titan controller people over like the years, and just have it on hand. And apparently Annie's Titan's like really good at swallowing stuff and absorbing its power. So, which I mean, the Jaw Titan, you think like that would be like a thing that it would be good at, right? Because like its whole thing is biting people. So
Yeah, and there was that whole thing I seem to remember where didn't Erin use him to bite through the hard shell of the BDSM Titan?
mm-hmm.
Can't remember what it was. What was that Titan called? Just looked like it was in
Warhammer.
bondage gear the whole time. Warhammer Titan, is it?
Yeah.
It just the Warhammer Titan just looks like it's in bondage gear.
Essentially.
Oh, okay. Okay, well that makes a bit more sense then, that they're talking about Titans mixing powers, and he's now got a good mix where he thinks he can fly. Because the Jaw Titan did actually look a bit bird-like.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and only his. Like, none of the other versions of the Jaw... Like, his Jaw Titan looks, like, very different from any of the other ones. Like, the other ones all kind of look similar. They're like a tiny... Well, not tiny. They're like a big, weird-looking person.
I seem to remember in earlier episodes as well, the Marlians were talking about how the Titans are more suited to some people than others.
Yeah.
And that's why they had that kind of whole training thing to see like who's going to be the most suitable person to be the Armor Titan. And
Yeah,
like Reiner seems absolutely golden for it. He's an awesome Armor Titan. Despite being a big douche.
Well, I was thinking, and they're like, Falco, like, his name's almost Falcon. Like, he's obviously going to be, like, a bird titan. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
and Gabby's, like, really gobby, so she's going to be, like...
she can swallow things really well.
So she's the next female titan.
Oh, this show is fucked, apparently.
Why? I mean, I've complained several times about why is she called the female titan. Like, that just makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, that was like first draft shit. Like, that probably should have been like a soft change, like when we learned more about them, like at Marley. Like, there was no reason it couldn't have been, you know, because that's just what they called them. Because like what they decided to call them in parodies just happened to be like what their names actually are.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, I get the fact that she was running around as a big giant titan with breasts. It was really good at killing things, so they called her the female titan. That made sense. But then later
because there are no
like,
other female titans. Yeah.
Yeah, because this is what I kept thinking. Like, surely she'd be called the Attack Titan because that's what that Titan seems really suitable for.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not it, is it? Is it Erin the Attack Titan, or was the Attack Titan?
Yeah.
So what was Annie?
The female titan.
Who's just really good at swallowing things.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Oh
man.
All right.
You're
I don't feel like
you're ruining this for me.
I don't feel like it's me though. Like, I'm just picking holes in the story. I'm not trying to be filthy or dirty. You were the one who started the whole swallowing thing.
I heard that and I'm like, Bill obviously took note of this.
I didn't. I missed it.
That's funny.
I was so confused as to what Falco was talking about. I was just like, what?
Yeah.
I missed the whole swallowing thing. All right, let's move on to the bombing raid then.
Yeah. So then on Yonkapon's like, all right, the plane's going down, but you know, I can do a crash landing. You guys can jump onto this weird skeleton thing that is probably Aaron. We don't know where he is. Check the butt first. That's where I'd be. Have you seen that thing?
Oh my god, have you seen that butt?
And then Levi's like, well, okay, we forgot to mention the part where Levi's like, so he's controlling it he's controlling the founding titan power through Zeke. So Zeke obviously has to be alive still. So I just got to go kill that monkey and then rumbling's done, right?
Everyone was looking and was like, you just want to kill Zeke. It's like, yeah. And yeah, again, slightly to my complaint that Levi's become a bit one-dimensional.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd kind of like it if he was a bit more interested in killing Zeke and Erin.
Because he's kind of always, like, his job originally was if Aaron got out of line, it was to kill Aaron.
Yeah,
remember, like, way back when? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it, with the Beast Titan? It's got, like, those weird, like, almost like spinal things going into the back of its neck, controlling it.
Yeah.
So it does make me think that Erin is controlling Zeke as the Titan.
No comment.
Yeah, no spoilers, please. But that's my theory for the moment. Is that yes, he is in there, but Erin's also got these weird, like, things going into the neck to control Zeke, who then's controlling the Titan. So it's like controlception. But I just want to know who's making his hair so greasy.
I really like the part because I could not remember how Aaron destroyed all of the bombing. The airships. And,
yeah, Zeke did it, didn't he, with the weird power thing?
Yeah, I don't know what he threw.
So do you think he threw stuff at them? But what is he throwing?
Yeah, he threw things, but I don't know what he threw.
Maybe lumps of stuff that's sort of been dropped off by the BDSM Titan.
Yeah, I would assume, like, you know, they did smash at least one in the head with a bomb of some sort, so like maybe some chunks. But they kind of just made it look like he threw a little bit of, you know, that Titan power we see when they transform. I I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought. The first couple, I'm pretty sure he hit with the lightning stuff. But then I remember the first time we was introduced to that whole concept, they were standing on one of these blimps when he activated a bunch of people. They threw off a blimp and then turned them into Titans. Like a Titan drop.
Yeah, the Titan transformation energy thing is like, it comes and goes, because obviously the Colossal Titan wasn't like city destroying levels when we first saw it, or else like Shiganshina would have just been like blown away.
Yeah, it just literally just quickly kicked a hole in it.
Yeah, because he just like snuck up on the wall.
Yeah, with his giant elephant foot.
Yep. So let me just quickly say that I really liked the scene where they were like jumping on the Titan. I had like one of my favorite songs in Attack on Titan playing. It's called Splinter Wolf. It's like, I think it was like the initial promo we saw for season 4, the final season, was playing that song, and I've always loved it. It's a really good one.
Yeah, no, that was pretty cool. And like I say, it's like, suddenly some action's happening, and then I touched the screen and was just like, there's 3 minutes of the episode left. Yep. Shit. Because like we haven't even spoke about the whole thing with like the refugees on the train getting to the base. We haven't spoken about the base. I mean, there's nothing to say about it other than the fact that, I think Annie's mum's there.
Annie's dad's there. Reiner's mom's there, and she's like, I've been a terrible mom.
Yeah.
I've never once
there's a weird scene where she's like hugging him and crying over his shoulder, and her face is like really enlarged and titan-like.
Yeah, and she saw a baby, and she's like, oh shit, I had a baby.
I had a baby once.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I absolutely loved the whole. So although there was loads of stuff here that happens that kind of wasn't really necessary, I did like the whole bit with on Gipong coming in on the plane like really hot with no fuel. Again, just a plot device from Flotch.
Yep.
And then everyone jumping out, and then we get this great action moment, and it's just like, yes, it's all happening. And then also I like the fact that the Beast Titan was kind of on some weird stilts. Mm-hmm. But also that means he's very stationary, which isn't going to help him very much when Levi comes at him. And again, something I was going to mention was the fact that how nimble Levi happens to be in this moment, despite only having really like a couple of fingers left.
He's an Ackerman.
I know. Mikasa is just amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is very strange. I forgot Reiner transforms, doesn't he, into an armored titan? And, smashes.
I really love that part where we see it from all of the like refugees like perspective, where they're like, oh, like all hope is lost because all the bombers got killed. Because like they were trying to get there so that they could fly away in those, and they're like, "Oh, sweet, we got
especially
here."
Especially that commander
giving
that big speech. That commander gave that huge speech as well. It's like, "This is the last stand of humanity."
He's like, "We created that devil out there because of our hatred."
Yeah, he gives like the most inspirational speech, which we completely glossed over because it's not important at all.
Yeah, but the most important thing is, like, a lot of people in the manga complained about the fact that none of those people would have been able to see any of that unless they had like superhuman vision. But in the anime, they added a guy with like a telescope or whatever.
Oh yeah, he had binoculars.
Yeah, so like,
but the peasant. But the peasant, I'm going to call them the peasants, the Eldians, the refugees, they didn't have anything like that. They are literally just watching.
Well, I think like he's like giving like a play-by-play. He's like, "Oh my God, is that the Armor Titan?"
It's like, Reiner.
Yeah.
Then we just get kind of like a weird close-up of Erin's eye, just wandering along, like, "Whoa, my back's itchy." Also, just I don't know if it is any relevance, but Zeke if it is Zeke in his Beast Titan form, is very grey. Mm-hmm. Especially when Reiner bumps into him, which is just odd to me. But maybe it's kind of like he's halfway between Paths and the real world or something strange.
Yeah, so that's one thing that like gives it away a little bit more than it did in the manga, because the manga's black and white. So like that gives you like a something's happening here. Don't know
something's
what,
not right
something's
with
happening.
the Beast Titan.
That Beast Titan just ain't right.
So obviously we've got the leaked music now for the end credits. Whose feet do you think that is?
Whose feet?
Yeah.
Were there feet in it? I don't remember.
Wandering along. Yeah. It's just like a pair of feet walking along. Then you get some like weird stills of birds.
Oh, it's
Again,
probably,
there's this whole thing with
Aaron's feet, I would think.
Nah, I reckon it's Falco. I'm still convinced Falco is going to end up being like the ending of this whole thing.
Oh, well, so your whole theory was that Armin was going to eat everyone.
Yes, exactly. I'm semi. That's still on the cards.
So you don't think he's just going to? No, I'm not going to go there. You can imagine where I was going to go.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna eat Annie. And then afterwards he's gonna chew her up as a Titan. But yeah, I don't know. There's a few things, because obviously like the end music's called Under the Tree. Mm-hmm. There's a scene where they actually flick through. You see the tree in paths. You see another weird bendy tree, which kind of looks like the one that the I can't remember her name. The girl fell into at the very the girl who became the very first Titan.
Yeah, and then there's also the tree that Aaron's crying under at the beginning.
Under us. Yeah, which also I noticed in this thing looks very phallic-like.
I don't remember it looking phallic-like.
It's got like a perfect curve. Marcus waking in.
Oh no. Okay.
But yeah. I'm pretty much done. Like, I think it's going to be either Armin's going to eat everyone, or Falco's going to destroy everyone.
Okay.
Or Gabby's going to be a gobshite.
But Gabby's going to gobby everyone. So she is a child. Anyways, okay. So the only thing I wanted to ask you,
being gobby in the UK means being mouthy, and like just
okay. In Australia, I'm pretty sure it's a blowjob, isn't it?
I didn't know that.
I think so.
Okay, well,
that's
for me, that's
a
very innocent thing you say, like gobby little shit.
That's funny.
They're just ratting off at you.
So the only thing I wanted to know is who do you think is going to live and who do you think is going to die in this final episode of Attack on Titan? Mainly, who do you think is going to die? I can just assume everyone else you think is going to live. If anyone,
yeah. The only people I see living is Mikasa. Only because her character's been quite quiet.
Okay.
They haven't done much of her character building in the last couple of seasons.
So you think she's going to be the only person left on Earth?
No, not the only person left on Earth. Obviously, the sort of Asian-esque woman from Hussars or whatever it's called.
Huzzah!
I can't remember any. I'm terrible with remembering names, but you know who I'm talking about. She's like the political person who still remains, who's from a third party who we've never had much to deal with in the show. So she's going to be the one there to rebuild relationships between Paradise and the world. I don't think it's going to be a world-ending event. They are going to stop the rumbling. But
do you think Eren dies?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, Eren dies. Mikasa lives.
Mikasa lives. I also kind of think Mikasa has some sort of weird superpower.
Okay.
And where she can like predict the future, and she somehow caused all of this. I think that's like a really far out there plot point, which would be really strange because there's literally been no evidence of it other than there was like that one
OVA.
There was that one OVA where she kind of had a weird dream.
Yeah, the one we didn't talk about.
Did we never get to that one?
I know, it was supposed to be mine, and I didn't want to talk about it because I couldn't talk about it without talking about what you're talking about.
But what are you talking about if I'm talking about what you're talking about?
Yeah, so I can't do that because I'm not saying it happens, but I also don't want to say it doesn't happen. Yeah, I can't talk about it without talking about it. So we'll save that OVA discussion until the last episode.
Because she's I'm going to call them Hidazians. She's Hidazian as well.
Yeah,
that's her lineage.
Yeah, because she's got a tattoo.
She's also from
I think.
Yeah, and she's also some sort of princess from there.
Something like that.
So that makes me think this whole thing is actually a Disney film. And
Mikasa is a Disney princess.
She is a Disney princess, and this is all going to end with her having sex with Moana.
What?
What? No. I honestly, I don't know where this is going to go. The only thing I feel like is going to happen is that Eren's going to die. But I literally have no idea what the ending of this is going to be or where it's supposed to be going. I'm completely lost and enthralled at the same time, and so disappointed I have to wait to the fall.
Is there any specific person you think will kill Eren, or you think it's just going to be like team effort?
It will be Mikasa.
Okay.
Because she's the one who's always had the internal struggle of, could I do it? They very much had that there the whole time. Like, can she kill Eren? Either that or she'll end up saving Eren and killing everyone else.
That would be interesting. Do you think, if she kills him, do you think she'll kill him with her scarf? She'll be like, you can have this back, and then just choke him out?
Well, she did. We didn't talk about it. There was that whole bit in here where someone said to her, "Have you still got? Did you lose your scarf?" And and she's like, "No, I've still got it. I use it as underwear."
And he's just like,
I'd like to rip that off later. So it's late at night. My this is the only place my brain goes when it gets this late.
well, I am in the strip club canonically, so like that's where my brain's been this whole time.
You're definitely not in a Lowe's car park.
Yeah,
you're in a ditch in a strip club.
Yeah, so I think that's all I wanted to ask you was just that one question.
Cool. Yeah, I honestly, I have no idea where it's going to go. So I'm very excited to watch the final episode and be surprised and probably massively disappointed at where it ends
I've been waiting for years at this point for you to get to this point, and like, yeah, I'm just ready.
Cool. I'm ready. I can't believe I have to wait another 6 months.
I know, it's very frustrating. Like, they should have just made it a movie, and we could have just talked about it, in like October or whenever it's going to come out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess no promises what we're going to do next on the show.
Yeah, I think we're going to do some Chainsaw Man. Hopefully we'll do some Chainsaw Man manga. I've gotten caught up, and I'm really enjoying. So there's like a part 2 that's like different than part 1 in significant ways. I'm really enjoying it. It's really good. It frustratingly comes out every 2 weeks. I thought it was weekly, but it's every 2 weeks, and the chapters are way too damn short.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, we can catch up on that, and we'll see if we do some other stuff in the meantime. But yeah, the coordinate continues.
Yep, I think I'm supposed to watch Gundam. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that anymore.
Oh.
I thought like the first episode was like literally one of the most. It wasn't even the first episode; it was called Prologue. Mm-hmm. And it was probably one of the most like gripping things I've ever watched as an anime, as like a very first episode, like to draw me in and to get me hooked. And then the second episode was just so disconnected from the first that I was just like, I don't know if I like this. But I didn't even finish watching the second episode, so I'm going to give it a second chance at some point.
Okay, sounds like a lot like your experience with Dick Fight Island. You're like, this is great, and then you're like, I don't know about this.
No, it's gay porn. Well, no, again, the whole first bit of Dick Fight Island was all tongue-in-cheek. It was all like jokey and stuff. There was no like graphic imagery of someone masturbating on themselves. And then the second volume was literally opened up with someone with his dick in his hand coming on his chest.
I was going to say the second volume was literally tongue-in-cheek.
I assume that will probably happen at some point in that volume, yes. But I didn't get that far into it. I was just like, oh, this is gay porn, and my wife will probably divorce me if she catches me reading this. Yeah, I don't know. It was just like the first bit was good because it was just jokey, and there wasn't actually any like erect penises in it. Well, not that you could see; they were hidden behind armor.
But yeah, on that note.
Yeah, I could talk about Dick Fight Island for ages. Yeah, that's been it. All right, Tyler.
Join the Discord at probablywork.com/Discord, and you could talk with us about Attack on Titan and other things. Yep.
Yeah, Chainsaw Man, other animes. Come recommend animes as well, and also you can keep Benji company. He's very lonely just talking to me and Tyler. He
really keeps us updated on like Attack on Titan news. If he is the silent third co-host of this podcast, I'd say
he has become the silent third co-host. I'm very thankful for his existence.
Yeah,
like I say, that whole leaked thing was just like so confusing to me. And I was like, no, I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to keep this fresh. And it's just like, yeah, I'm glad because it wasn't actually what it was.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to stay up to date on Attack on Titan news, join the Discord, and Benji will keep you updated.
Good old Benji.
Yeah.
And and that's it really. Do we have any other plugs? Do we do? Oh yeah, Twitter. at Coordinate Pod?
I deleted Twitter. The account's still there. So if you want to use it, I just deleted Twitter in the app and my own personal Twitter, and yeah.
Oh yeah, I miss that Jack's call.
You can follow me on Instagram, where I also don't post anything.
Brilliant. You can follow the Coordinate Pod on Twitter. I've still got it, and I've still got that account. I mean, my Twitter is just literally retro gaming feeds, so yeah. I never see anything political or anything. So I'm just like, no, I'll just keep this for a bit. And yeah, you can. So if you are on Twitter, you can follow us there. You can follow me at Metunnica, METUNNICA, and you can email us at coordinatepod@gmail.com if you want to leave us some feedback.
Oh yeah, or suggest a thing for us to watch. Like people have suggested that I not watch, but I read Tokyo Ghoul, and instead of reading it, I watched the first season and really liked it, and apparently it goes downhill from there because they like really get away from the manga. So yeah, I'll get around to talking about that one day because I thought it was pretty cool.
Cool. All right, everyone. Well, yeah, it's a terrible time in the world at the moment with a cost of living crisis and the war in Ukraine, but don't get trodden on by a stubby Titan foot. That doesn't sound cool.
We'll just leave that.
Yeah, man. Nothing worse than getting trodden on by a stubby Titan. But at least they don't weigh anything.
Yeah.
You're not going to get crushed.
Oh no, we're back here. Don't get eaten.